just recently got this new pedal. It's called Shallow Water. It's from a company called Fairfield Circuitry, and it's a K-field modulator. That's what it describes itself as. I'd never heard of this pedal. I'd never heard of a K-field modulator. I'd never heard of this company. I heard the pedal in use in a video by somebody called Emily Hopkins, and I'll include the link below. She's playing a harp and she's running that through a distortion pedal. It's pretty incredible what she does with the harp and the pedals, and she runs a few other pedals in series with that, and I was just fascinated by the pedals that I saw. So one of the first pedals I picked up after watching the video was the Walrus Fathom reverb pedal, which I demoed last week. I was just intrigued by the pedal she was using, so I went and got a couple of them. This is the next one, the Fairfield Circuitry Shallow Water K-field modulator. It's not a cheap pedal. Now the description on the website is also pretty strange. I'm going to read it to you here. It says, poolside conversations while staring at your own reflection, the depths of which shall never be known, at least not for another couple thousand years. So it goes, before the reflection is the experience, before phenomena or even noumena is that which is undefinable. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing noumena correctly, but from what I understand, it's from Kantian philosophy, which is the thing as it is in itself, which seems like some kind of Platonic center of truth, that a thing has a selfness that can be defined or perceived. But for a pedal description to start getting this philosophical, that which has never been heard, that which will never be heard again, and that which has always been heard but never listened to. K-field, from simulation mathematics, is an undefined two-dimensional non-linear field where past and future forces interact as irregular intervals. Shallow water generates this K-field by randomly modulating a short time delay to create unexpected shifts in pitch. The result is this non-cyclical vibrato, chorus, flanger type thing, favoring old tape flavors. The water is shallow on this side of the pool. Do not dive and you will not drown. So that's a weird description for a pedal. Usually they're pretty technical and they describe exactly what they do. Definitely Fairfield Circuitry, they have a more unconventional approach. As you can even see by the look of the pedal, it's just this weird steel box that looks weathered and bossed, and it's even a little tough to read the labels on the pedals. They're not lit up. There's no luminous paint, glow-in-the-dark paint to make it easy to see. It's not standout block capitals. It's almost like they don't really care about conventional pedal design. They're just going for something unique. Even the way it's boxed and wrapped seems kind of unique. So I'm going to try it out and see what it sounds like. This is the box that came in. And inside the box, well, first of all, there's the card that comes here, and it says, you know, any problems, just let us know and we're happy to fix them. So just give you a good sense of the pride they take in their work and how they're ready to stand by and service. I like the kind of vaporwave look and feel of the card. They also include 3 plectrums. They may not be the gauge that I use, but you know, that's all cool. They're cool plectrums, so those are nice. And then it's wrapped in a paper bag as if it's something you're going to eat for lunch. Super weird. So pretty quirky. I like that. And it does look pretty intense. We've got standard in-out and 9-volt power input and a toggle switch. You've got these 6 controls. So you've got rate, damp, depth, LPG, mix, and volume. Volume is straightforward enough, and they recommend noon as a kind of even setting, so that's not too difficult to understand. Mix, like with a lot of pedals, how much is the dry signal versus the wet signal? Okay, we're familiar with that. It's the other ones that are a bit strange. So rate controls the time intervals at which the random pitch fluctuations occur. So you want fluctuations to occur frequently versus not that frequently. Damp controls the slope of the modulating signal. So they're going to be quick and sudden, almost instantaneous, or they're going to be very slow to the point where apparently they can't really be perceived as pitch modulation. So that's kind of weird. And what the instructions say, and there is a pretty good instruction book here, there's a 2-page pretty detailed explanation of how to use this with a circuit diagram. I've never seen that in a pedal instruction book that I've had before, and it does talk about using the rate and damp together and trying to experiment to find the sweet spot and make sure that it's giving you what you need. Depth controls the intensity of the modulation, so how you interact between rate, damp, and depth is going to be pretty key to the sound you're going to get. So it's already pretty random in its design. It's going to bring in random fluctuations, and then because there's so much variation in what you can accomplish with these 3 knobs together, and LPG adjusts the level of the envelope going to the low pass filter and gate circuit. I guess if you're the kind of person who can read the circuit diagram in the instructions and understand that, then that might make some sense to you. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but reading further, it says that lower intervals means it'll be a darker signal, it'll choke subtle notes and reduce sustain, so darker, less sustain. Choking subtle notes, I don't really know what they would describe as a subtle note or how you would choke one. At higher settings, the sound will be brighter, it'll have more sustain and might reveal some noise produced by the bucket brigade device. I don't know. Like I said, this is one of the weirdest pedals I've come across in terms of how it describes itself. Very ethereal and philosophical and metaphysical, but then when it gets down to the instruction book, here's a circuit diagram and a lot of technical jargon, so it's weird. It's like left brain, right brain pedal. Looks super cool. It's definitely a little bigger than, say, your standard kind of Boss or other similar size pedal. Twice the size of that. So it's going to take up a bit more room on your pedal board. Now let's plug the thing in and play with it and see what kind of sounds we get out of it. Okay, everything is at 12 o'clock and we're going to turn the pedal on and let's just see what it sounds like. That's my clean. That's my distorted. I'm going to turn it on. At 12 o'clock it's kind of unnoticeable. It does a little bit of a kind of chorusy sort of flange, very subtle. Let's take it off. Alright, let's start messing around here. Let's see what else we got. Detect some subtle variation for sure. It's just kind of it's very subtle, and honestly kind of was expecting something a little bit more explosive and crazy. I wonder if this video is just really going to be a call for help. If anyone else uses this pedal, do they have any idea what I'm doing wrong? And I'm probably going to have to go and watch a bunch of videos on it too and come back to it. This might be the first pedal I plugged in and felt like, wait, am I missing something here? It's doing. It's a nice sound, it's a nice tone, but I don't hear it fluctuating. So it says at high rate and damp settings the quick variations have trouble passing through the swampy filter and integrator, effectively reducing perceived modulation. So the interaction between these two knobs in particular needs to be tamed through experimentation. Okay, so let's bring the damping down a little bit. Ah, okay. now we're getting somewhere. Oh yeah. See, this is what I'm looking for. Plug it in, turn it on, something weird comes out, and then we're like, okay, this is a pedal I can use. Yes. Okay, so that's interesting. Let's bring the damp up a little bit. I've only brought it up to, as you can see, it's not even halfway, it's like a third of the way, but that already makes a huge difference to how quickly the modulations are changing. definitely sounds more nervous. It's like the lower the damp, it's almost letting, I guess the damp is kind of softening or holding back some of the craziness, and that when you take the damp off and bring it to a very low setting, the pedal almost gets like an anxiety complex. It's almost like playing it through a lo-fi tape effect where the tape is kind of old, the tape machine keeps changing the speed at which it's playing back. Which reminds me of some of the tape sort of effects on the space station. This thing where you're slowing down the speed of the tape and reversing it. It has a similar kind of subtle effect. Liking what it does when the distortion's on in terms of just kind of crazy and frantic element to it, but it really doesn't lend itself to hearing quite what's going on. So it's almost like if you want to get the value out of this, you sort of want the pedal clean tone, and I wonder if it might be cool with a little bit of reverb in there too, but I'm going to leave it clean tone. I feel like I'm playing on an early Kurt Weill record, or maybe some kind of Sonic Youth Jet Set Thrash No Star interval, like a song between the songs. definitely reminds me of some lo-fi, like early Beck record or something, with just some crazy effect on there. So I don't really know what to do with this pedal. I'm not exactly sure I understand what the hell it's doing, but every sound is really intriguing and interesting, and it's not randomizing quite as much as I thought in terms of every minute there's a completely different sound, but there is a subtle randomization going on where it adds an element of chance at the price that you pay for it. It's, you know, I have to wonder how often am I going to use it, but we're talking about a random pedal, so let's just randomize some of the stuff. That's a weird kind of Leslie cabinet sound in there with the chorus. Dampening settings, you need some dry mix to really hear the modulations apparently, so let's try that and see what that does. That's off. This is on. I've experimented with, because you just stumble across sounds that are really intriguing and strange, but it's just hard to understand how these different values are interacting. There's a subtlety and a nuance, and there's a randomness. Honestly, I can't really explain it very well. Some of the sounds give it a really murky, strange, kind of cloudy, claustrophobic, humid sort of feel. Others are weird tape glitch, almost like old VHS or audio cassette tape glitching. So there's some super interesting effects and sounds that you can bring in there. It's a mystery, I can't quite figure it out. So this is my first impression of the pedal. Definitely think there's some cool sounds in here I need to explore further. That's the Fairfield Circuitry Shallow Water Bazaar. If you like what you see on the channel, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell icon, you'll get a notification when I post new content as well. And I'll see you again in the next video.